Okay. Yes, okay, so we're live on Instagram as well as on YouTube. You can join us now here in either platform. We're just gonna give it a minute for people to join in.
Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to the continuation of Lineage Liberators Podcast. This is episode 6, where we describe the different types of unions. As Joy just said, we are live on YouTube as well as live on Instagram. So welcome everyone who's here. I'm going to give them a minute for people to join the room. And we are very excited to share what we have to share today. Right?
Yes, this is definitely, I think, a topic that everyone is looking forward to. We're going to be talking the types of unions, right? The different types of unions, and so much to cover, so much to go through today, right?
Yes, for all of you that have questions of wondering, am I in divine union or am I not, right? So hopefully we'll give you some clarity, some understanding, being able to map different patterns in your relationship to figure out what type of relationship you're in or what type of relationships you've been to attract in your field consistently, and that will hopefully help you have a better understanding of, number one, where you're currently at and what you need to do to begin shifting yourself. That will probably be in a later live stream, right? But for today, we're just describing the different types of unions from a cosmic and soul lens that will help you understand the different kinks and shifts that you've been going through with whatever you're going through.
Yeah, definitely. So just confirming if you guys can hear us, right? So because we can't see you all, your communication is highly important because we're doing this transmission to share with you all. So please exchange energy with us by communicating, sharing, bring a heart in the comments so we know you can hear us clearly. And we're gonna jump in. Right? Yay. Okay, great. You can hear us. Awesome. Okay, so let's jump into the types. The volume is a little bit low. Yeah, I felt it. Is it still low? Okay. Yes. Okay, so should we jump into the types of unions, right?
Yes. This is your gnosis, this is what you track, so I'll let you take the floor, Joy.
Yes. Okay, so for this conversation to take place in ways that, will be really helpful, I'm just going to say that I'm going to be speaking at a higher level today, bringing this gnosis in the ways that I have been taught, I have been synthesizing as I've been going into the records, and as me and Weff have been synthesizing divine union and what it is, right? And like the different processes and the different unions that are available, right? So I'm going to be speaking cosmically, right? I'm going to be speaking from ascension mechanics, quantum mechanics, right? So stay with me. I even have a book here just so I can draw for the parts that may be like, what you say, enjoy. So please confirm with me when I am defining these. So the way I've synthesized them, or the way that I want to talk about them today, there are 4 types of unions, right? Of course there are more, but just to simplify, because we're talking about this in a live stream, and truly for us to go deeper into the deeper intricacies of each one, that's a whole entire course, right? But just to synthesize so that we can have a general idea, right? So right, I am like a teacher, so when I say right, I want to just kind of like get feedback. Yes, Joy, in the comments, right? Right, love?
Right.
Yes, okay. Now, because, otherwise, what's up?
Who am I talking
to, right? Can you hear me? In the chat. Yes, Joy, we hear you, we're with you, because, you guys know this template of the prophets and the oracles. They need confirmation, because otherwise the spirits aren't gonna talk. Yes, Koketse, you know me, right? Okay, so let's start with the different types of relationships that you will find yourself in as an eternal spirit, right? That you will move through in what we will call the ascension ladder, right? So the first type of relationship will be a relationship where you are both karmic soulmates, right? So karmic soulmates, it typically is made up of I'm trying to figure out how to. I think I should start with genetic equal and go down because it's gonna be tricky. Okay, yeah, trying to start with the karmic soulmate is gonna be difficult. But I want you guys to look here, right? Capture that. As you can see, I've written up there like this is a soul group, and you can see 6 little wheels, and in those 6 wheels underneath there is the M, which means male, and the F, which means female, right? So this is a template of a soul group, what we call the monadic, oh, you can show, okay, what we call the monadic soul matrix, right? So every single one of us in our planet, we are incarnating in family groups. And these family groups, we may know of bloodline families, right? I'm also going to speak from the perspective of lineage liberation. We may know families in the sense of the family you are in biologically, but we know that whole process of groups coming together, incarnating together. The same is also true spiritually in the spiritual realm, where we have spiritual families or soul families, right? So for us to understand soulmates, we must understand soul groups, right? So a primary soul group is called a monadic group or a monadic family, and it's usually made up of 12 souls. And these 12 souls, typically, this is just generalizing, it's not always the case, typically there will be 6 females and 6 male in that group, and these 6 females and 6 males make up 6 soulmates. But they will be soulmates, but we will go deeper into what kind of soulmates they will be forming with each other. But if we look here, you see here the M and the F, and you look at the wheel there, what that wheel is telling us is that when we are created by our divine parent, which is Source God, and we have the seed of God, which is the God seed, in the moment of that creation, that seed splits into 2, and it splits into 2, which will form the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect of that seed. That one seed, right, is usually what people call a flame, right? And so when the flame splits into 2, it creates twin flame. These are the same seeds, the same God seed, same spiritual DNA, right? They are holding the same DNA templates. My oracles know what I mean by that. Spiritual DNA. So they are from the same God, the God seed, similar to if biologically there was twins who hold the same seed of one parent, same parents, right, mother and father. So there will be 2, they are holding the same biological DNA, the same DNA template. So the same is happening at a spiritual level. So this is what for a long time people have been calling twin flames or soulmates, but it's much deeper than that. I feel like I'm not hitting my points the way I was hitting them earlier, but because I'm not feeling yours, so
maybe I'll help
me with the genetic report.
So as Joy was saying, of the 12 that are 6 because they're pairs, but it makes 12. We have coined, I'll just start off there with the term genetic equal. We have used that term to define what she was just talking about because of the distortions with twin flames. Twin flames is a thing for sure, but the level and the definition that people use it for is often not accurate in terms of what it really means. As Joy said, these are like twin soul beings. They're exactly the same. They're genetically, from a DNA spiritual lens, equal. They're level, they're paired, they're attunely matched to each other. And that, us calling it genetic equal, was because of the twin flame distortion, to where you think, oh, because this person is my twin flame, that we're supposed to go through this, or it's going to be challenging, or they're going to cheat on me, or they're not going to live up to everything that I want them to be, because it's just how it is when you're in a twin flame relationship. And there's levels of truth to that, but in terms of a genetic equal, and if we're using the organic, original definition of a twin flame, it's going to be someone who's going to challenge you to step up to the highest embodied symbol and attunement of what you are as a soul being. In terms of all of the different things that you've struggled to deal with, this person's going to challenge you in a way that is difficult, but in the aftermath of the challenge, there's a leveling up. There's a greater release and opening of the heart. There's a greater connection with that person. There's a greater release that's happening in your life, with your family, with your friends, that expands you in ways that clearly goes outside of this 3D realm. Your ability to magnetize things, your ability to manifest wealth, to manifest abundance, to have an idea and be able to project it into this realm and see it move in ways that most people would define as magic. That's what we call the genetic equal, because you're attuning yourself not just from an egotistical lens of I want a man or I want a woman and they're challenging me because they're cheating on me and they're challenging on me. Genetic equals have shifted past that of they're not even necessarily looking for all the physical qualities that they think they want or that society has told them what's in a man, what's in a woman. They're looking for something more. They're looking for something deeper. They are on a spiritual path of really understanding what we call this simulation or this matrix and how it was created, how do you get out of it, how do you interact with it, how do you master this realm, how do you clear all things that need to be cleared from trauma, masculine, feminine wounds, what is required for me to do that, and who is the person that's going to take me on that journey, because there are certain aspects as a masculine you can't see from the feminine perspective and vice versa. So the genetic equal is the organic imprint of the twin flame, meaning this person's inner fire constantly challenges you to level up to a greater understanding, a greater level of healing, a greater level of manifestation and development. All the things that you said on my spiritual journey that you missed, all the things that you neglected, all the things that you kind of walked around and didn't want to address and didn't want to fully examine, this person's going to step in and make you deal with that. It's not going to be a person that collapses your life to where you're giving too much in a relationship and you're not getting anything back, to where the emotional connection is not there. You wish the person was more emotionally connected. This person brings in a lot of drama in your life that isn't drama that shifts your consciousness, that isn't drama that shifts you into leaps that you've been hesitating to make and require you to take that step forward. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the leaps that are proactive, that are aligned with business, that are aligned with careers, that are aligned with spirituality, and they're all in tune on this divine frequency that's moving between the two of you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, love. I have found my bearings. I don't know if that's the expression. So I'm going to get technical here. The reason why I'm struggling, because this is high level quantum mechanics that I want to bring forward, because if we don't get that from that level, it's easy to kind of keep going in loops, right? So as I was saying, and as Weff was saying, if we think of the whole idea of unions from a spiritual DNA perspective, then we can start with, okay, so the origin of a soul or the origin of a spirit, right? That origin is from the seed of God, and that seed of God will come down and manifest itself into two energies, the feminine and the masculine, right? And together in whole, they make one flame. And this is what people have been calling the flame or the twin flame, right? They are twin flames because they're holding the same DNA template, spiritual DNA template. But that whole flame, one flame, twin flame, typically incarnates in a family, and that family is usually made of 5 other flames, which together when they manifest in the human form. You gotta stay with me because I can feel the field. Together they will manifest as 12 souls, or 12 6 masculine energies, 6 feminine energies, right? And I'm gonna reference my picture here so we can understand when it's a genetic equal. It's when the beings, the two beings, the feminine and the masculine, come from one flame. That's a twin flame or a genetic equal relationship. And then when we are going to the second type of union is what I call the monadic twin flame, right? So this is another twin flame, but that twin flame is, if you look here and you see this masculine energy, if this masculine energy has incarnated and they date, they come into union with this feminine energy, which is from a different flame that is not the same as them, but it's in the same soul group. That is a monadic twin flame. And a lot of people are in these kind of relationships where you are not exactly the same flame, but you are from the same soul group. And so that means your essences, your frequency, your vibration is similar. It's closer to each other. It's the closest to each other. In a sense, it's like your spiritual siblings, right? While the other one is a twin, your twin. When you are a monadic twin flame, you are siblings. It's similar to sharing the DNA with your sibling. It's still the same, from the same parent and same timeline, but it's not your twin, right? So monadic twin flames typically have the same mission. They come for the same divine mission, because a soul group typically holds a similar energy, a similar essence, a similar frequency. So when they incarnate, and when I'm talking about similar energy frequency, I'm talking about, like, a soul group could be the manifestation of the idea of love or the idea of wisdom. They're holding the essence of wisdom as a group. And so when they come and incarnate, they will be bringing love to the world or wisdom to the world, right? So that means those two beings who are not twin, genetic equal, but they are twin flames in the sense that they're from the same soul group, will have a deep resonance with each other. There will be spiritual connections, spiritual experiences that they have, and they will also have typically a divine mission. What makes them different from the genetic equal, besides the fact that they are not from the same exact flame, is that in the physical, they will not be going through what people for a long time have been calling Gamos, sacred marriage, perfect matrimony, right? Gamos is when you come into union at all levels of the self, as the last stage that you are taking in a realm like our realm, and you are preparing to become like an ascended master. You are preparing to transcend the realm to go into another one, right? So genetic equals typically come into union in their last life in a planet, right? And that's because they're going to do this twin flame process of uniting. And so because of that, most people are not here in the genetic equal, because it requires, we're going to talk more about, like, what does it require to end up being with your genetic equal? What does it require to be with your monadic twin flame, right? But let me just talk about the relationships, the type of relationship, and then we'll go to that. Right, do you want to add anything? Okay.
Yes, so she's covered the genetic equal and the monadic twin flames. So as she said, the monadic twin flames are coming from the same soul essence tree of 6, and they're split in half. So it's like one essence split. It's half of it's the masculine, half of it's the feminine. And in that, as she said, the monadic twin flames can be two separate branches, and they're interacting. But the genetic equal are the ones that were from the beginning of the start of their essence paired together. They came from the same flame, the same essence. So if we're thinking about what she says in terms of ascension mechanics, in terms of exiting this, that's a sign that you're preparing to leave this realm, or whatever dimension you're experiencing with this genetic equal, that you're headed out. So ironically, so many people talk about wanting to leave this simulation, I get out of the matrix, but the key aspect is what we're defining as genetic equals. That person that you started in this journey with from the very beginning, you're coming home to them. And in terms of what's required as a genetic equal union, it's going to challenge you. All the aspects of you that is still holding on to this simulation, the matrix, unconsciously, that person is going to consistently challenge you to let go, to see a greater truth, to expand more, to test more. And in this realm, we perceive it as friction, tension, debate, but that's the cosmic soul energy required to transition out of this, because it catapults you out of this. All of that fuel that's being used with your interaction, your conversation, your expansion, it catapults you. So with the Monadic twin flame, the issue with that in terms of complete ascension and being done is you may not be creating enough electro-spiritual energy, because the original genetic equals, they have the pure positive and the pure negative impulse, which is why Joy has the masculine and the feminine that represent the positive and the negative. So even when you look from a scientific lens, you know that you need a positive and a negative in a battery to have a full charge. So if you're trying to exit with a Monadic twin flame, the issue is you might get along better and you won't be magnetizing each other to where you're consistently challenging and clearing out what needs to be healed, because these are typically the relationships that will be a little less daunting, a little bit more comfortable to be in. There'll still be challenges, but it won't extend you to your greatest degree of all the things that you've had a thought of but haven't explored, your potential. That person will be okay and just not make you fully step up all the way. But the twin Monadic is still a level higher than the other two that we're going to discuss. It's definitely on the path of ascension. It's definitely you tuning into what you truly are in terms of a soul cosmic being, but the energy between those two people isn't fully enough to completely dissolve everything, but it's like a big telltale sign. Now, from my lens of what I've seen, is some people don't even get to the Monadic twin flame. They go straight to genetic equal. And some people, some souls have to go through a couple lifetimes of the Monadic twin flame to fully get into the genetic equal to where they're ready for it. And that also depends on the karmic debt and the karmic relationships that Joy is going to get into now.
Yes. So the other two, so this one is also going to get cosmic and galactic, right? So if you are in this community, you may already know that even though we are all from the heavens, there are different heavens, there are different origins, cosmic origins, right? So as a soul group, as a monad, you are from a specific cosmic group. So speaking in the lens of the starseed language, imagine if a soul group is the first life as creation was in the star system Lyra, right? So because they're from Lyra, they have this imprint in their core that is connected to Lyran culture, Lyran expressions and norms and right? So when you are having your first life or your first creation, then you meet other soul groups who are not in the same monadic group as you, but they are from other soul groups, and you connect with them and you bond, and you can even get into union with them, right? You are from the same location, you're from the same dimension, you're from the same world. And so because of that, there is a resonance in the sense of similar to here on earth, where when you connect with someone from the same country as you, who has the same culture as you, right, or the same tribe as you, or the same continent as you, or the same race as you, there's always the similarity, connection, and so forth. So we are speaking at a level of the spirit. We're speaking relationships in terms of spiritual lens. So spiritually, when you connect with another being who is from a different soul group but they have the same cosmic origin as you, that usually makes you cosmic soulmates. And this relationship is usually quite, really, there's this spiritual connection, spiritual bond, there's an ease with this union. The friction isn't as intense as the monadic twin flame or as intense as the genetic equal, but there is a certain level of, I know you, we're from the same cosmic place, we're from the same cosmic language, right? And so there's a comfort with that relationship. And typically a lot of us, when we are with our cosmic soulmates, we may have really like really comfortable unions and like where there's peace, you know, but there isn't a lot of growth per se, and there may be a discrepancy in terms of like where you are in terms of spiritually. They may be in a different spiritual location, spiritual evolution from you, and in the physical this will look like a lot of some of the marriages that are here where you actually connect with this person. This is your homie, you guys, you know, get each other, you'll be laughing about the same thing, you have the same types like of love in music and so forth. But when it comes to your spiritual cultivation, that spark, that flame is not the same as theirs. So spiritually you may be going to different churches, or they may not be in the same spiritual journey as you, right? They are your cosmic soulmate, you feel a resonance with them, but there is this difference, and that difference feels innate. Like it's like I can't change them. Like they may wake up one day and do the spiritual cultivation as me, but I can see that just because they are not from the same flame as me or soul group as me, they don't have the same mission as me, even though they can be supportive. Although the level of them fully getting your mission may never be the same as the way that a monadic twin flame will, or the way a genetic equal will, right? Does that make sense with the cosmic soulmate? Yeah. I'm asking that because they ain't talking to me, the people. Yeah, they're just like watching.
So to translate a little bit, the cosmic soulmates are typically the people that you feel real comfortable with. All the love songs, all the movies about romance, all the cuffing season, Netflix and chill. That's these types of relationships where it's just like, I don't know why I keep ending up being with this person or ending up being intimate when, I mean, they're a good person, they're really cool, and you can easily find yourself getting comfortable, but as Joy said, the relationship isn't making you step up to your highest potential spiritually and of course manifesting physically. This will be someone who caters to your wounds or your traumas. They're not encouraging you to step out of the jail cell, if you will, or the lion's den, to actually acknowledge that you're in a jail cell. They're just giving you flowers, sending you cookies while you're there, and it's comfortable, it's not overwhelming. But as Joy said, there's a level of spiritual growth and certain inconsistencies to where you might be a Christian, they might be a Buddhist, they might be New Age, awoke, and then the other person's deep Baptist. It'll be that type of vibe in the relationship, but both of you will come from a similar lens, as Joy said, you like the same music, you have similar tastes in food, and it's just easy, it's comfortable for you to be with this person because they're easily relatable from a 3D lens. But typically what happens in these relationships is if one of those two people has the impulse to go for their genetic equal this lifetime or for their monadic twin flame, there will be a spiritual awakening that happens in that person. And then that other person will be like, hey, what happened to you? Like, what changed? You need to go back to who you were. And that person will be like, don't you want to grow? Don't you want to expand? Don't you want to? And the other person's like, no. What happened? It was good between us. Now you changed. I don't know who you are. Right? So that's something to look out for just that type of relationship, that energy. Like I said, the Netflix and chill, all the romance songs work perfectly. Going on date night, having what we would call quote unquote a good time because it's comfortable, it's fun. And that's not to say that you can't do that with a genetic equal, but there's a whole other lens of even getting to the point of having a movie night with a genetic equal, because now you're thinking from a wider lens of, we need to manifest more wealth for the family, we need to manifest, make sure we're not stuck in this, am I growing spiritually? For me and Joy, just like walking up, like I will accept very quickly if Joy would rather be going to listen to a live stream, studying some spiritual gnosis, preparing for class. Even if we have like a movie night scheduled, if something came up, I would be understanding, like, do what you need to do, right? So this type of relationship, that wouldn't be so easily understood. It would be like, what are you doing? So there would be like a kind of a skip of the record playing, if you will.
Yeah, so this is where we see a lot of the relationships, definitely. And when, as Weff was saying, when you are in a spiritual awakening, so what you are actually really awakening is, the sound is off, is it? Is it off for everyone, or is just Nosa? Oh, okay, you can hear just fine. So yes, with a cosmic soulmate, there's a resonance in the sense that we are from the same place, and so they can be that comfort, but there's this pacifier, and like, just like here, where when we are from the same culture, there's ways in which we get, like in the cultural programming and comfort, right? So the same thing will be happening where spiritually they are not going to be interested in exploring anything else except what they are used to, what their soul has picked up in this lifetime, right? So this is why in this relationship, this may come up if one of you awakens. And what are you awakening to? You are awakening to your multidimensionality. That, oh, I actually have other soulmates, other soul metrics and soul groups, and that there is a mission that I'm here to do, and I must do that mission, and that I must awaken to the dream within the dream that we are in, right? So that is the third type of relationship. As you can see, yeah, we've got different soulmates. As you were asking, we do have different soulmates, and in a lifetime you can actually move through those soulmates, right? You could have experienced a cosmic soulmate, a monadic twin flame, and a genetic equal. And if that has happened, it actually means that you are accelerating spiritually. You are in an ascension path, and each time you are clearing your karmic energy, your karmic timelines, your miasma ancestral curses, each time you will be shifting your frequency, your vibration. As we spoke about this flame that is like electromagnetic, you are shifting and aligning with your original electromagnetic charge, which is found in your union with your genetic equal. This is why you start to feel like, I'm no longer able to connect with my partner the same way, because your vibration is shifting, your frequency is shifting when you're awakening and starting to realize the greater reality that we are in, and the reason why we're here, which is to become ascended masters, right? To become gods, right? We are gods, right? So that process, once you are inside it, it will shift you and connect you with specific people. You will start to connect with your soul group. You will start to find your monadic twin flames, and sometimes you may get in union with them, sometimes you don't get in union with them, until you finally get in union with your genetic equal. And there's a reason why we're talking about this today. There's a reason why we're doing union work, and that reason is, we will talk about it, is the twinning event, or the twin flame event that is taking place currently in our world right now, right? I'm going to put a pin on that so that you come and hear a little bit about that, so I can jump into the fourth group, soulmates, right?
Types of soulmates.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the fourth one. This is karmic soulmates, right? So our karmic soulmates, we spoke about how the cosmic soulmate, we are from the same cosmic origin, or we have the same imprint of a specific location in the higher realms, in the other realms, right? when you are with your karmic soulmate, they typically don't come from the same location as you, right? So they're not from Lyra. So this could mean that you are from Lyra and they are from the Pleiades, and maybe you met as souls, as spirits for the first time, maybe in this planet Earth. And when you connected, there was a kindredship based on wherever you were placed and your soul ascension plan and evolution on how you're planning to evolve on this planet, which is a plan that you put in for many lifetimes, right? So because of that, it doesn't mean you're always going to incarnate with your soul groups. You're always going to incarnate with your monadic twin flames or your genetic equal, right? So who would you be mating with all these other lifetimes when you don't meet your soul group? You'll be mating with other people who may be from your cosmic origins, or who are not from your cosmic origins but surrounding areas, right? So you could meet someone, if you are like from Lyra, you could be meeting someone from the Pleiades, and you connect and you mate, and there's a kindredship, there is connection because you're spirits, but there's also difference because it's like you're from two different cultures, and because of the different cultures, there may be shifts and challenges that come with that. We're from two different locations, right? But the charge is not like, the spiritual connection may not be so strong, right? But there could be a comfort, and especially if you have been incarnating with this person a couple of lifetimes as marriage partners. Each time you incarnate, you are accumulating karmic debt, right? Things, lessons between the two of you that you complete in one lifetime or you don't complete in another lifetime. So you come back again and get into union with that person to try to clear the karma. Unfortunately, with this soul group, which is a lot of the people in our planet Earth, is that there isn't an awareness fully or an awakening fully of who the people are spiritually, right? And so this is where we are really stuck with the 3D ideology of a relationship, and the karmic energy is not being addressed at all in this kind of relationship. The couple may not even realize that what is playing out in that relationship is their own soul karma or the ancestral karma, and they are coming together to try to heal it. They may be in a relationship just to have fun together, right? And it may be that, it may be the relationship is they travel together, they have babies together, they build a house together, they get a mortgage, they get the two, what is it called, the American dream with the white gate picket fence.
White house with picket fence,
yeah.
2-car garage. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. What is it called? Or is just that?
American dream.
The American dream, yeah. So you get your American dream, but there isn't spiritual evolution here, right? There is kindredship, there is, we know each other, there's comfort, and there is fun, but there isn't truly dealing with the energies. And so because of that, in that relationship, what may play out may be a lot of outburst of karmic energies that will look like, in that relationship, there may be cheating, there may be violence playing out in the relationship, physical violence, gender-based violence coming through. There may be the complete deterioration of someone's psycho-spiritual well-being while they're in that relationship, demeaning each other and so forth, because at that level we're not perceiving each other as spirits. It's just our human program, and we're running the human program of this simulation, this dream that we're in, right? And so we get stuck. But those violence and those, patterns that are playing out in that relationship, they are really the karmic debt from other lifetimes that we've incarnated, but we have forgotten this, so we just keep playing the same loop from one lifetime into another and so forth. And it only stops, we transcend the karmic soulmate when one of the people begins to awaken and has to say, no, I cannot continue with this pattern, and they shift and they change, right? I'm gonna stop here.
Yes, you have a couple of questions, but I just want to add and clarify to what you were saying. The karmic soul relationships are typically where the traumas, the distortions, the negative emotions thrive heavily. All the substance abuse, alcoholism, physical abuse, emotional abuse, the man or woman abuse of beating, physically abuse of the children, all of that thrives in the karmic soul relationship. And it's really a call for those two soul beings to clear the karma, to expand and heal. But a lot of people get stuck in that loop and it doesn't get cleared. It just continues to perpetuate itself throughout lineages and throughout time and place. So last lifetime the male was abusive, or that person was abusive, and now it's the opposite person's turn to be abusive and emotionally distant. So these are the type of relationships that most people would call toxic, or almost the like completely unaware relationships where the woman thinks that her man is perfect and phenomenal, and this is the stereotypical guy who's cheating on her, and she can't see it, and it's unknown to her because she's bewildered if she sees him as perfect. Vice versa, the male who is committed and the woman is two-timing and he can't be aware of it. So those types of relationships are set up for the actual healing. It's the call for the healing to begin to happen, to begin to shift. As Joy said, the moment someone wakes up and said, I can't take this anymore, this is not healthy for myself, for my children, for my environment. That's what she used to call the beginning of the genetic path cutter, to say like, enough is enough. I can't take this toxic energy. But it's important to know that I'm not being dismissive of those relationships, because the karma is just that. It's an energy that pulls these two people together. This is why they're bewildered when they're like, why am I staying with him even though he's doing this to me? Or why am I staying with her even though I'm taking this abuse emotionally? What's wrong with me? It's that karma, that energetic magnetism that pulls them to each other. And because they haven't awoken spiritually to perceive the higher lens of, I'm a soul being, I have a spirit, I have previous situations before this, they're clueless, and they just think, to a degree, there's a level of helplessness, there's a level of I don't know what else to do, I don't feel like I can do anything else, there's a level of lack of confidence, there's a level of deflating of being strong enough to leave the situation, having enough energy, because there's still this conflict of like, but this person is healing me or doing something, but the mind can't process what it is, so they just continue to perpetuate the situation.
Yes. So yeah, just using that template of the 4 different types of relationships, it's important to realize all of these 4 relationships, all of them will have karmic energy, will have karma. And what is karma? It's just, a lot of the time, it's the unprocessed emotions, unprocessed trauma, unprocessed grief that takes place whenever you incarnate on a realm like ours, which is often called a fallen realm, in the sense that it disconnected from the divine eternal life systems. And so when we incarnate on planet Earth, any human being who is incarnated on planet Earth, which is all of us, they accumulate karma just via being born here and via the blood that they receive from their mother and their father, right? So they inherit those karmic energy, and those karmic energy are what gets activated when you're in a relationship and your partner is late, and you find yourself deeply furious because you're like, I can't believe they're late again, right? Because it reminds you of that time where your father said he's going to pick you up, and then he never came, and he disappeared and never came. But you are not realizing that the reason why your partner is pissed off, you're not realizing the reason why you're pissed off by your partner is because they have activated your unprocessed grief of your father leaving, right? And so when you enter that relationship with that person, these karmic energies, when we speak of these karmic energies, they play out with that partner. And the purpose of union is to help you heal those karmic energies, those unprocessed traumas, unprocessed emotions. So when you are in a karmic relationship, Your partner may not be aware that that's what's playing out, so they're not equipped to help you move and process that karmic energy. But as you awaken, the more a person feels that unprocessed grief, they do their own work, the more organically they shift from being in a karmic relationship to a cosmic relationship. They shift to go and be in a monadic twin flame. What is different about this relationship is that there are certain energies that just won't exist in monadic twin flame. Like the energy of violence will not play out in a monadic twin flame or a genetic equal, because both of you have awakened to the greater truth of who you are as spirits, and you are moving within the logos. You are embodying love and kindness and patience and all these other logos that we know are innate in us, right? But when you haven't done the work, when you haven't processed your own karma from your mother and father in childhood trauma and ancestral trauma and soul trauma, they're going to play out in your relationship. So all this to say, even genetic equals have to face karmic energy. The karmic energy will be different for each couple, for each type of union, right? So the genetic equal may have to deal with karmic energy that's existing at a cultural level. Like me and Weff will be dealing with our cultural differences and the way they trigger our cultural programming, right? Or the gender wars, the feminine and masculine wars that are not inherently about just us as individuals, but the collective, right? So this is why each relationship is almost like, to be honest, you have to be qualified to go to it. You can't just jump to it, because the requirements for each one, it gets bigger and bigger, because the purpose of union is to clear karma, right? And the more you clear your individual childhood trauma, you are going to move next to like your ancestral traumas, and you're going to move to your soul traumas. And once you have processed these traumas, you can enter processing planetary trauma, the trauma of being human on earth, or cosmic trauma of where you come from, right? Now those timelines will also play out in the other relationships. But when we are still at like our karmic relationships or cosmic relationship, there is no time to even be thinking about the Syrian wars and what happened there, right? We're still dealing with what mom and dad did to us, right? So that's what you need to realize. So divine union is not a thing you just are. It's a thing you become, you cultivate in every level of relationship you find yourself in, right?
Yes, I agree. And I saw a question about, in terms of, if you're in a karmic relationship and you leave and you do the clearing, does that, if the person doesn't leave or they don't stop, that's the, I guess, beauty, for lack of a better word, for the karmic soulmates, is that's not your true twin flame soulmate. That's someone that you have a different dance that you've had with previous lifetimes, and you're being called to clear it. So the moment you make the choice to step out, you're clearing yourself. It's up to that other person to do the healing work. But in terms of your weight, you're moving on and moving up towards that spiritual evolution that Joy was speaking of, to where you're shifting. And to a degree, you could look at it as like a union school of initiation. You have to go through the different levels to be qualified for the next one. You have to go through a level of understanding, a level of spiritual cultivation, a level of awareness, before you can step up into being a genetic equal. If Joy and I weren't equipped with what we're equipped with now, we would not have even been able to magnetize each other in the first place. And that magnetization that we had continues in the relationships, because now it's a new level of challenges, a new level of learning, of expanding, and that is only possible because we passed the test of the previous tests and initiations that we went through.
Yes, definitely. And it's also important to know that with karma, clearing karma that you may have with a karmic soulmate, you don't clear karma by sitting in violence. You don't clear it by sitting in a deeply painful experience for your soul, when you leave, that's you clearing the karma. That's you saying no. That's how karma is cleared. It's reclaiming your sovereignty to say, I am a sovereign being. I will not be experiencing this. Right? So the moment you leave, you have cleared that karma. But of course, as what someone said, that sometimes it's like the Karmic soulmates are seeking you, and the moment they see a thing, they pounce back and bring you back.
That one girl with that one dress on that the man just couldn't resist right after he got out of a difficult relationship, right?
Yeah.
And his mind saying, man, I think I want a spiritual woman. I want someone that can, really help me out. Oh, look at that. It happens. Same thing with the women.
Yes. But so when a karmic soulmate comes back again, it's obviously reflecting that there is still a pain, a wound that still needs to be cleared, right? So when we talk about the law of magnetism, how we are magnetized to each other, if we remember the original idea of, because when the flame is being created from the seed of God, one of the flame, the masculine flame, is electric, and the feminine flame is magnetic, and together they create this electromagnetism, right? And this electromagnetism will always be seeking each other throughout many lifetimes. However, actually genetic equals tend to actually not incarnate a lot of the times. They do, but not so frequently. And the time they usually do is because they have cleared a lot of the trauma, and now the charge can find each other out of the billions of souls that are here. Right? It's easy to find a karmic soulmate. You just go outside right now, you will find them. Your cosmic soulmate, they're probably your friend right now, right? And you're like, oh, my homie. So yeah, you've been friends with that person, and then one day something happens. Yeah, because there's a resonance. Right? To find your monadic twin flame, that's also a bit hard, because we tend to spread out. Like when we incarnate as a soul group, they spread out. And then genetic equal, this is why there's all this list of how do you know he's your genetic equal, or they say twin flame, or you find that he's older than you, significantly older than you, he's already in a marriage, or he's from a different country or continent, which is our story. We are from different continents and so forth. There's a bit of truth with that, because typically when we incarnate, it's not every genetic equal is from all of these lists, but it's to say it's the mechanics in which a soul group tends to place each other or themselves across the planet. Right? They incarnate in different, so that they can do that mission, which that mission will be similar in nature, will be, or that anchoring love in the world. So why would they be incarnating the same continent? One needs to go to Africa, another goes to Australia, another to Japan, to anchor across the planet the energies, right? So there's a bit of truth in that. Also, why would we be incarnating maybe at the same age, time, around the same location? Like, the power, the charge of divine union is so powerful, of genetic equal is so powerful, that genetic equals can power up a whole country, right? Like that electromagnetism, it's electricity and magnetism. They can fix the load shedding situation in South Africa. I'm making fun of you guys, but yes, I'm gonna end here.
Did you want to answer any of the other questions?
Yes. Okay. What are the questions?
There was one question about if genetic equals can be the same race, if they could be different races, as well as the star history of if our star cosmic history connected with the race that we are down here. Case in point, all the white people are from one particular cosmic star, or can it be diversified?
I think I like to think of things just like here in our world. So for example, in Africa, there is predominantly obviously black people, but there are other races here. We've got Indians, we've got Caucasians, and other races here, right? But the percentage where you will find most black people will be in Africa. So I think the same is as above, so below, is in the higher realms. What I have been shown in terms of my field reports as an oracle, a lot of melanated people, which is not just black people, but Love you can explain the melanin thing better than me, but a lot of melanated people tend to originate from Sirius B, right? When I map, I always find like they're in Sirius B or Lyra, right? There's a lot of connection to that. But there is also a black person who is from Andromeda and Pleiades and so forth, right? So there is variety, of course, but we may find a cluster of same beings coming from a specific origin. Why? Because we are also, from a cosmic level, we are actually doing cosmic clearing. So because there was the Syrian wars that took place and the Lyran wars, the souls from that war will continue to consolidate the trauma from that on planet Earth, and they will consolidate it by being in one location where they will play out the trauma within a particular field or particular grid, which is why Africa, for example, is facing similar problems of disease and poverty and so forth. When you go in the astral, the higher realms, and you see Sirius B, it starts to make sense why this continent, for example, has the issues it has, because we are playing out cosmic trauma here, right? So I think, yes, you can find other people from those star systems, other people who are in different races here, but you may also find a cluster of them in one location, right?
That was a great answer.
Okay, so do you want to answer, what was this question? What, something about, can they be an agent? Can you clear karma without having to go through the karmic?
We answered that. I brought that up.
Or can you learn the lessons and raise vibration without karmic activation? What do you think of that one?
Learn the lessons and raise. Karmic activating is part of raising vibration. So I don't think so. Karmic activation is realizing that you're sitting in something that is not proactive for your spiritual well-being, for your mental well-being, and you decide to do something about that. The moment you decide to do something about that, that's shifting your vibration, shifting your frequency, changing your magnetism, which I often call your alchemical makeup, your alchemical work. It's shifting. The greatest truth is it's shifting to what you originally were, but from the lens of karmic relationships, it feels like it's a whole new you, whole new experience, but you're tuning yourself back to the original impulse to magnetize the genetic ether.
Yeah. Okay, so we've spoken a lot about karmic unions. What is divine union? What does that look like? And why does divine union matter?
Divine union. I guess the better question is, what's the difference between divine and karmic? Divine is just that. It's an impulse for something sacred, something pure, something cherished, something that you have pure devotion to. You don't need to prove this to your friends. You're not worried about trying to show out in front of someone. It's this opening of the heart to where you have a reverence for the absolute all, God, the creator, whatever you want to call it. And now you have opened up your heart enough to have that same type of reverence and devotion to another individual, right? To someone, to symbolically embody that love that you have for the divine between you and that person. And so there's a different energy that goes into a divine relationship than just saying I'm in a relationship or I want a sexy looking man, a sexy looking woman. You're seeking to get from this person a deeper connection with spirit, a deeper connection with your soul, a deeper connection with that absolute all God, creator, source, God self. So that's the key difference to me in terms of divine union, is there is a level of sacredness, sanctity that should be cherished, and it's not for show because you want to be a quote unquote good man or a good husband or a good wife or a good girlfriend. It's because you have this pure impulse of, I want to completely embody what I feel when I connect to Source God, to the Creator. I want to embody that with another person and be the symbolic representation of the divine masculine and the divine feminine.
Yes. And that process that Weff is talking about is called sacred marriage, or Heros Gamos, or perfect matrimony. And it is the last stage of ascension in our realm that we have to take. So meaning every soul eventually has to find that genetic equal, right? The question is, when will they find it? The difference, not the question. The difference is, when would you have cleared your karma so that you are ready to enter the genetic equal, because you are completing your journey here on earth and you are ready to go into other realms and so forth, right? So the good news right now for everyone, and part of why we're doing this work today, we're returning the Divine Union manuals and doing Divine Union sessions, is because Earth has entered Starfire Ascension, Starfire Activation, Starfire Cycle. And what that means is that we are completing a cycle as Gaia, as the planet. And so because of that, there is a higher level of gateways that are open for people to ascend the earth. And so because of that, the twinning event has been taking place where genetic equals are getting in union in high numbers than any other time. And that's because the energy of the earth has shifted, where we are now able to move so quickly, clearing karmic energy faster than any other time in the recent 2000 years or so, right? And so because of that, this is why there is a collective awakening to, who is my twin flame? What does this mean? How can I be in divine union? It's because of this event that's already taken place and has been taking place, right? And now, because of that, most of the soul groups that are here are finding each other, right? The Monadic Twinflames are finding each other and clearing whatever karma they need to clear, and entering into genetic equal relationships, clearing also whatever they need to clear, right? This means that there is a lot of ascended masters in training. We're becoming ascended masters in our planet right now, right? So this is why there is even a yearning within you around finding your divine partner and so forth, because what used to take lifetimes, we are now able to do it in this one lifetime, right, to clear the karma, right? This is why there's also the surge of healing, of ancestral healing, of soul retrieval. All of these technologies coming in the collective is because the last stage is divine union, coming into union for sacred marriage, because through divine union we can anchor God here. We can be in union with God through the merge of the electromagnetic charge of the one flame, the twin flame, right? Yeah, so that's the reason why we're coming here to share with you all, because there is a need for resources for those who are feeling called to find that genetic equal to complete the cycle this time around. But it's not even just for those who are genetic equal, for those who I really would desire to be in divine union, because being in divine union is unlike anything I've ever experienced personally, because it's the level of connection that you have with a person that transcends your human personality. It's spiritual connection that is deeply nourishing to the spirit. I know my women out there, I know you in your core, you've always known about this connection, and you've always wanted that connection that transcends the 3D, right? So that's available. It's available for us in the Monadic Twin Flame relationship. It's available for us, I guess, even in the Cosmic Soulmate, but it's really it keeps expanding more and more the more you enter the more of the two, the Monadic Twin Flame relationship and the genetic equal relationship. And in the genetic equal, the most profound part about it is the shared codes and the way that you move faster with the genetic equal in your life than when you're by yourself. And this is even applying to the oracles and the priestesses who are out here doing activation after activation, healing themselves over and over again. and then you hit a plateau and you're like, okay, what's next? I feel like I've got it, but it's like, oh, the missing part is now you're gonna have to face the other flame and come to union as that one flame. And part of that is obviously the refinement. You're gonna have to refine each other, grow each other, accelerate each other, expand each other, help each other step into your mission, your individual mission and your union mission, right? And that's like, it's a profound mission to be in, because usually the divine mission of genetic equal is planetary. You have that opportunity to have planetary impact, to impact the world. And impacting the world is not about life the world. Oh, impacting the world is how just the two of us right now in our energy, the earth heals, just us sitting next to each other. There is codes we are sending to the earth because we are spiritual beings, and we're healing the lands by just us being here. We're healing the lands. Whenever we're connecting with other people, our DNA frequency is activating other people's DNA frequencies and healing those DNA frequencies and healing our lineages like much faster than when you try to do it alone, right?
Yes. Joy, you touched on a lot, and I know we're pretty much out of time, but I just want to say a couple things. As she said, with the healers and the priests and priestesses that are out there, your healing work expands when you get into divine union with your genetic equal. The ability to cleanse yourself, to clear yourself is way more vast and expedited than what you could possibly do on your own, because it's that positive and negative energy I was talking about earlier that expands your field, that makes things that used to take more time take much less time to do, and to just even the depths of how much your spiritual gifts will expand to a greater degree that you thought was impossible. And I just wanted to get a word of encouragement and faith for all the people that are out there seeking divine union, seeking genetic equal, seeking some type of sacred relationship, that you can manifest that. And as Joy said, the time is now. Things have shifted in terms of grids, and things have expanded to where there are more men that many of the women are thinking are not available are there, but they maybe to some degree are hesitant to show themselves, are unfamiliar with how to express themselves, but there's a place in the heart that's open. So by just setting an intention and knowing that there are other souls here to do this work and to do this mission, let that be the guiding light for you, and let that be a word of encouragement for you energetically with whatever you're dealing with in terms of relationships currently, that there are souls coming down here to fully anchor in divine union. Joy and I are symbols, and we are being of service, but we're talking because we know that this message will attune and align itself to the people that it's destined to attune and align itself with.
Yes, I think that's it, everyone. We started this a little clunky because I struggle with my PhD, but if you watch this replay, please comment, share, like, share with your community. The reason why I'm saying that is because, in particular, me and Weff, one of the reasons why we are coming forward is because we know how rare it is to be seeing Black people coming out here and saying divine union, what, right? Yeah. So particularly the melanated community needs these teachings, this awakening. We are returning to the world wholesome families. We are returning to the world the expression of love, of unconditional love. We're bringing a new frequency, a new vibration. Someone asked, how do we heal the continental karma of Africa? Divine union is definitely one of the ways to do that, because when you are with another person, like what you are able to perceive, like the way I may have a blind spot, and the way Weff can see what I can't see, and I can see what Weff can't see, the acceleration, the healing is much faster, right? So we heal divine union. I think for Africa in particular, we heal our karma by entering divine union, by anchoring God through us, through our hearts, right? When we do that, like, not only do we heal the feminine fields of this planet or this continent, we also heal the masculine fields, and we are opening so many, and it's like this beautiful ripple effect where we are creating a new template, a new avatar. And even the children that are coming in, incarnating right now, these children are like high-level ancient beings who are coming from other star systems we've never heard of, right? And they are not gonna sit in the miasma and the karma that we've been playing and perpetuating. You will see they're just like, oh hell no, what is this? You all need to deal with your stuff, right? Do you have any last words?
No, I don't think so. I'm just excited to be facilitating and transmitting these codes with you, Joy, and to everyone that's watching. As she said, it's a new shift. What many call the golden era is beginning to anchor in, and the question is what is required, and one of the biggest answers to that is divine union. If you look in ancient times, when we talk about Egypt and the pyramids, there was a structure built for the pharaohs and the priestess across time to where they understood the level of sacred union, sacred marriage, all those different aspects. Yes, they were physical things, but the energy and the spiritual component behind that still stands. In terms of, as she said, healing Africa starts with true divine love, not relationship, not situations, not halfway being in a relationship, but the guy isn't emotionally available. It's seeking intentionally to be in true divine union with the person, to where that person is intertwined with your spirit. They get you from many different lenses, many different levels. They understand you, while at the same time expanding your perception of what's possible, what's capable, what you can do, what you can manifest. All of that is summed up with divine union and why it's so important. The true healing power, as many people have said, the greatest power and all there is when you're interacting with God, Source God, Absolute All, it's love. So the question is it organic true love, or is it conditional love based on certain pretenses? Right? So that's all I have to say.
Yes. So for those who are like, okay, I want my own divine union experience, I would like to do that. So where do I start? Like, because this whole karmic energy that is there, someone was asking, is the karmic energy already automated in you? Yeah, it is. That's what DNA inheritance is all about. You already inherited the karmic energy, so we don't get to skip that. You have to deal with the karmic energy. So one of the things that we are doing in our divine union sessions that are open, available for booking for those who want to go deeper, who feel a calling to the path of union, the path of divine union, who are seeking the counterparts, whether that's a monadic twin flame, or you're seeking your genetic equal, or a cosmic soulmate, wherever it is that you want to ascend to, whichever iteration of union you want to be in. It's typically going to require that you really understand the inner blocks and distortions that are making it difficult for you to be in a divine union with your already even existing partner, or in previous partners, why things were not working out. So there is a need of excavation and understanding the self and clearing those karmic energy. And this is one of the things that we're doing, facilitating karmic clearing for those relationship karmic clearing. But that relationship karmic clearing, of course, includes soul work as well as ancestral work, which is often playing out in relationships, right? So we are doing those in our sessions. We're also doing mapping for those who are like, I want to know where I am in my initiation, my ascension path, which relationship I'm bringing forward, and how I can shift, and what is the work required, right? So we are doing those cosmic mapping, union mapping, and so forth in this session. And then doing the divine union activation. So just so we understand, the divine union activation template exists in every one of you, but it may be dormant, and that's why you're not able to call in your partner. So you have to activate that, right? Because many of us have not been using that union template for many lifetimes. So this is why it's very difficult to also find that. So that's part of the activations that need to be done. DNA activation, karmic union clearing. So that's what those sessions are for. They are deeply powerful sessions, and so because of that, even the investment is honestly cheap. because we're two people, we're bringing us. Oh, I forgot about the sexual alchemy. You want to share a little bit about what that's all about, the sexual alchemy?
Okay, but yeah, we're both bringing our gnosis, our studies and mastery. So sexual alchemy is essentially about what Joy was just saying, but from a deeper lens in terms of magnetism. So we all carry different traumas, different emotions. It may be inherited ancestrally, it may be inherited in this lifetime through a cosmic lifetime, but you hold these different emotions, and many of these emotions create a certain wave of magnetism for other people. Sexual alchemy deals with understanding the emotions that you hold within your chakra centers, within your organs, all throughout your light body, and learning which ones need to be cleansed, which ones need to be alchemized and shifted, and then just like compressing it into a small diamond jewel. So you compress this and you move these emotions with your sexual essence. So from the most pure aspect is the your life, right? Your life force, what you would call life force. In this 3D world, most people, the standard is taboo life force is connected to sex, getting it on, as most people would say, or as Marvin Gaye would say. So that sexual energy is purified to a degree to where now it becomes closer to its original essence of life force, of creation essence. And you're transmuting these emotions, which we call emotions, but these are fragmented pieces of your life essence. So the sexual alchemy's goal is to bring these fragmented pieces that you call your unprocessed emotions, the trauma, compressing it back to a diamond shape, merging it with your sexual energy, what people would call kundalini, life force energy, merging it back down to its original form, which creates a stronger magnetism for you to manifest that genetic equal, that sacred partner, to where you are acknowledging the things that you have been holding on as karmic debts and karmic relationships, and they're being cleared. You're acknowledging and reconnecting with the truer aspect that you started with the original template. So to sum it up briefly, that's what sexual alchemy is all about.
Definitely. We're definitely going to have a sexual alchemy session because Weff can break that down in just like the most mind-blowing ways, and it's a huge component in divine union to alchemize sexual energies, right? It's not just the divine union in your life, because there are two ways in which we create karma. It's typically through sex and through money, resources, commerce, right? That's the main two ways we do that. This is why we gotta address both of them. Yeah. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Hope this was like really helpful. We will see you guys next week, Sunday.
Thank you everyone. See you next week.
Bye.